A very good afternoon to one and all. This is Dr. Pranay Dute, and today we are going to discuss about two concepts. One is the structural geology, introduction to structural geology, and physiographic division of India. So, when we are talking about the physiographic division of India, so it it will explain you how the Indian subcontinent has been classified in a different parts. So, this is a typical map of India. So, physiography is refers to the physical setting of the land. What is physiography exactly? Physiography is referred to the physical setting of the land, providing general information about the landform and vegetation types. India is a land diversities, great mountain river and wide plateau and plains, lengthy coastline, etc. This one is constitute the physiography of our country. So India is having a very a diverse country. We can always say that after every 5 kilometer there is a change in the language, tone, and all. So likewise, you have a changes in a different part of physiographical characteristic, like mountain you have, a river you difference you have. Sometime you found a plateau somewhere, you find a mountainous region. Sometimes you find a subsidized region. Subsidence like structure means a basinal like structure you can have. So this is a different kind of structure. This is a different kind of structure you have in the Indian parts when we are called about the Indian subcontinent. So India is divided into following physiographic region. India is divided into the following physiographic region. Northern mountain, including the Himalaya, which include the Luan, Karakoram range and the Northeast mountain ranges. Then you have Great Plains of India, Indo-Gangetic Plain and Thar Desert. Then you have a Central Highland and Deccan Plateau. Then you have a coastal area, like you have a East Coast and West Coast. You have a East Coast and West Coast. Then you have bordering seas and island, bordering the seas and island. So first, mountain ranges. So India is having a different mountain ranges, right from the north, and then you have western and eastern side. You have a different mountain ranges. So mountain ranges in Indian regions are Himalaya, Karakoram, Kunlum, and Patkai. This is a different mountain ranges we have. So in the northern mountain, the northern mountain is all about, it is a Himalaya. Then you have a Karakoram, Kunlum, Patkai. So this is a northern mountain we have. Then different. Then we have a Eastern Ghat and Western Ghat. So Western Ghat are normally from your Maharashtrian region. You have a Sahyadri mountain. In the east, Western Ghat is also known as the Sahyadri mountain, which is all through or run parallel through the your Maharashtrian coastal region. Then you have a Satpura range. Then you have Arauli mountain. And then you have a Vindhyan range. So this is a different mountainous region. This is a different mountainous region we are having in India. Then the mountain ranges of India, you can clearly seen from this picture. This is an Arauli, which also consider as dividing your eastern and western Dharwar respectively. Okay, dividing eastern and western Dharwar. This is a Arauli mountain. This is a Arauli mountain. There is a Thar desert this side, western side, and we have eastern side this one. Then we have a Vindhyans. Then we have Vindhyans. So Vindhyans you have in the run parallel from east to west, and this one is in a state of Madhya Pradesh. We can also say that a central part of India. Then we have Satpuras, which is run parallel to the east to west from your some border part of Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh state. Then you have western course of long western ghat we have from the Kerala to Maharashtra, and this state is covered by this western ghats. Then you have a eastern ghat. So this is a different mountain ranges in India. Then after the mountain, we are come to the plains of India. After the Great Plains are sometimes classified into the four divisions. The Great Plains are classified into the four divisions. The Bhabar Belt, this is an adjacent to the foothill of the Himalaya and consists of the boulder and pebbles which have been carried out by the river system. As the porosity of this belt is very high, the stream flow underground, the Bhabar is generally narrow, about 7 to 15 kilometers. The Tarai Belt. This belt lies next to the Bhabar region and composed of the newer alluvium. The underground stream reappear in this region. The region is excessively moist and thickly forested. It also receives a heavy rainfall throughout the year and is populated with variety of wildlife. The Bangar Belt. This consists of older alluvium. This consists of older alluvium and form of the alluvial terraces of the floodplain in the Gangetic Plain. It is has a low upland covered by the laterite deposit. The Khadar Belt. It lies in a lowland areas after the Bangar Belt. It is made up of the fresh newer alluvium which is developed deposited by the river flowing down the plain. The Indo-Gangetic Belt is the world's most extensive expanses of interrupted alluvium formed by the deposition of sealed by the numerous rivers. So this is the plains of India. This is the plains of India. Then the Great Indian Desert. Then we have Great Indian Desert. So the Great Indian Desert is having an area in the Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, and Gujarat. So desert, you know that what is mean by desert? What I want to what 350 miles per square. 80,350 miles per square. This is a area which is covered by the Indian desert. Most of the desert is rocky. Most of the desert is rocky with the small part of extreme west of the desert being sandy. The area is characterized by extreme temperature of about 45 degrees Celsius in summer and below freezing in a winter. So you know that while discussing in a previous lecture, sand is a property having a uh, giving the property of sand. They are freezes, or you can say the temperature will go down very quickly or up also, means both in the both the case the temperature variation is very high. So temperature is very precious, erratic, and ranging from the below 120 mm to in the extreme west to 375 mm in the uh, eastward. This is a Jaisalmer desert. Then Central Highland. Then we have a Central Highland. So the Central Highland comprises three main plateaus. Central Highland comprises the three main plateau. The Malwa Plateau in the west. The Plateau is spread across the Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and Gujarat. The Malwa Plateau is spread across the Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and Gujarat. The average elevation of Malwa Plateau is 500 meter, and the landscape is generally sloped toward the north. The Deccan Plateau in the south. The Deccan Plateau is a large triangular plateau bounded by the Vindhyans to the north and flanked by the eastern and western Ghats. It is mostly flat with the elevation ranging from the 300 to 600 meter. The average elevation of the plateau is 2000 feet above sea level. It slopes gently from the west to east. So we have a central highland where you have a Deccan Plateau and Malwa Plateau. So Malwa Plateau is spread across the Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and Gujarat. So this is a three different state which having the Malwa Plateau. Then the average elevation of an Malwa Plateau is 5,000 meter. The average elevation of the Malwa Plateau is 5,000 meter, and the landscape is generally sloped toward the north. Then we have the Deccan Plateau. Then we have the Deccan Plateau. is a large triangular plateau. A Deccan plateau is a large triangular plateau bounded by Vindhyas to the north and flanked by the eastern and western Ghat. It is mostly flat with the elevation ranges from the 3,300 to 600 meter. The average elevation of the plateau is 2,000 feet above sea level and it slopes gently from the west to east. Then we have Central Highland. The Chota Nagpur Plateau in the east. The Chota Nagpur Plateau is situated in eastern India, covering much of the Jharkhand and adjacent part of the Odisha, Bihar, and Chhattisgarh. It is made up of the three smaller plateau. It is made up of the three smaller plateau, the Ranchi, Hazaribagh, Kodharma Plateau, and all. The plateau is largest. Plateau is the largest with an average elevation of 700 meter. The much of the plateau is forested, covered by the Chota Nagpur dry deciduous forest and vast reservoirs metal ore. So we have a Nagpur plateau near the in the eastern side of India, where your Chhattisgarh, Bihar, and Odisha and Jharkhand, this all parties get covered by this one. Then, when we are talking about the physiographic division, you know that the coastline is also very important factor. A coastline, the eastern coastal plain is a wide stretch. The eastern coastal plain is a wide stretch of the land lying between the Eastern Ghat and Bay of Bengal. It is stretches from the Tamil Nadu in the south to the West Bengal in the north. The Mahanadi, Godavari, Kaveri, Krishna river drain this plain and their deltas occupy most of the area. The western coastal plain is a narrow strip. The western coastal plain is a very narrow strip of land sandwiched between the Western Ghat and Arabian Sea. It is ranging from the 50 kilometer to the 100 kilometer in width. It extends from the Gujarat in the north and extends through the Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, and Kerala. There is a numerous river. There is a numerous river and backwater included. The region major river flowing into the sea are Tapi, Narmada, Mahadevi, and this one. This is you can have the river, the most of the famous river of India. Okay, this is a most famous river of India. So you can categorize the river into the two parts. One is east flowing river and one is a west flowing river. Okay, we have east flowing river and west flowing river. So east flowing river you can have the different rivers. Okay, like Godavari and then Mahanadi, Krishna. These all are the Kaveri are the east flowing rivers, like Ganga also in the east. And you have west flowing Narmada, Tapi. These are the west flowing river. Then island, the Lakshadweep and the Andaman. The Lakshadweep and the Andaman and Nicobar Island are India's two major island formation, which are classified as the union territories. Lakshadweep Island lies 200 to 300 kilometers off the coast of Kerala in the Arabian Sea, with an area of 32 kilometers square. They consist of 12 atolls, 3 reefs, and 5 submerged banks, with the total of about 3,600 island and islands. The Andaman and Nicobar Island are located 1255 kilometers from the Kolkata. They consist of 572 islets lying in the Bay of Bengal. The territory consists of two island groups, the Andaman Island and the Nicobar Island. India's only active volcano is a barren island in the situated here, having last erupted May 2005. What is mean by dormant and active volcano? Dormant volcano are those volcano which is not erupted any lava since the long time. What that long time we define? Maybe a million year or thousands of years. Then island is having a significant just of Indian coast, including due of former Portuguese enclaves. The Marine National Park, 42 island in the Gulf of Kutch continue it. Then we have then water bodies. Water bodies, you know that the part of hydrosphere. What is the water body? Where you have a most water there. So major gulf, seas, ocean, and lakes are the major water bodies in India. So Gulf, you have Gulf of Cambay, Gulf of Kutch, Gulf of Mannar, including the Fog Strait. Then you have seas and ocean, Lacaduce Seas, Andaman Sea, Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea, Indian Ocean. So this is a different water bodies we have. Then you have lakes like Chilka Lakes in Odisha, Sambar Lake in Rajasthan, Dal Lake in Kashmir. Then you have Koleru Lake in Andhra Pradesh. This is a different lakes we have. Then you have a lineament like structural train map. This is a structural train map. This is a seismicity map. This is all about the physiographic division of India, how the India is get divided into the different studies. Now I'm going to start a new concept that is a different introduction to the different structural geological aspect. So structural geology is the study of factor. Structural geology is the study of factor which such as origin, occurrences, classification, type, effect of various secondary structure like fold, fault, joint, rock cleavage, and are different from those primary structures such as bedding and vesicular structure, which develop in the rock at the time of their formation. Then you have outcrop. What is the outcrop? Any geological formation, any geological formation exposed on the surface is called a outcrop. Any geological structure formation which exposed on the surface is called a outcrop. Then what is the inlier and what is the outlier? So inlier is having a basinal like structure is your inlier. Oldest formation is exposed. Then you have outlier, that is a structural basin. So sorry, inlier is a dome like structure. Inlier is a dome like structure where oldest formation exposed on the surface, youngest formation enters difference. So then you have outliers, a structural basin. Then you have outlier, that is a structural basin, uh, youngest formation at the center and oldest at the sidewise. Then you have strike. So strike refer to the direction in which strike is referred to the direction in which a geological structure is present. The strike direction may be the defined as the direction of the trace of the intersection between the bedding planes. Then we have strike and deep. So what is the strike and what is the deep? Strike is a deep is literally meaning the deep of the literally mean of the deep is slope or inclination. That is your deep. Stroke and inclination is known as the deep of the any strata. In structural geology, okay, in from when we are talking about the structural geology, deep is expressed both as a direction and the amount. Deep is expressed as a direction and amount. The deep direction is the direction along with the inclination of the bedding plane occur. So one is deep amount and one is deep direction. Amount is how much they are deep. We called about in a quantitative manner. You can say the 45-degree and all. If you don't quantify, you can say the gentle deep or steep deep. That okay. Then the next topic is the what is the fold. So fold are one of the most common geological structure. Fold are one of the most geological common structure which is found in the rocks. When a set of horizontal layer are subjected to the compressive forces, they bend either upward or downward. The bend notice in the rock are called a fold. In terms of their nature, too, fold may occur as a single local bend or may occur repeatedly and intricately folded to the tectonic history of the region. This is how fold is looks like. So we have different parts of the fold like axial plane, you have horizontal plane, angle of plunge, and this all the units. So what is the hinge? Hinge is the area. Hinge is the area of maximum curvature. It is a closure of fold sometime. It is also closure of fold sometime. Limb is the these are the areas between the hinges, or in the other word, these are side of the fold. So hinge line is a possible to define. A hinge line is a line of maximum curvature. A hinge line is maybe horizontal, inclined, or vertical. Then axial plane is the imaginary plane which is equidistal from the each limb of the fold and which also bisect the angle between these two. The axial plane actually cut the hinge zone of the fold along a line which is termed as a fold axis. Or then you have plunge. The attitude of the fold axis is measured as the angle between the axis and the horizontal. Then we have crust and trough. Then we have crust and trough. So, so crust is a, you know that crust is a in a your zigzag like structure. We have a crust as well as the, then we have anticline and syncline fold. Then we have anticline and syncline fold. When the beds are bent upward, when the beds are bent upward, the resulting fold is called anticline. This fold is convex upward. Naturally, in such a fold, the older beds occur toward the concave side. In a simple case, the limbs of anticline slope in opposite direction with the reference to its axial plane. But when the anticline is refolded, the incline character of limb will be complicated. Then syncline. Syncline is just opposite to the anticline. Syncline is just opposite to anticline in its nature. When the beds are bent downward, the resulting fold is called a syncline. This fold is a convex downward. In this, the younger beds occur toward the concave side and in the simple way or type of syncline. Its limb tip toward each other with reference to the axial plane. Then what is the anticline and syncline? Then so then you have a symmetrical fold. What is a symmetrical fold? When the axial plane, when the axial plane divides a fold into two equal half. Okay, when the axial plane divide fold into two equal half, that is known as the, that is known as the symmetrical fold. When you find a mirror image of this both, this is called as a symmetrical fold. When the axial plane divide the fold into two equal half, such a way the one half is mirror image of the other, that is called as a symmetrical fold. Then what is the asymmetrical fold? If the compressive forces responsible for folding, if the compressive forces responsible for folding are not of the same magnitude, asymmetrical fold are formed. Then we have symmetrical and asymmetrical folds. Then we have asymmetrical and symmetrical fold. So symmetrical fold are when the axial plane is vertical. When the axial plane is vertical, then you have asymmetrical fold when beds in the one limb deep more steepy than the those in the other. Then you have overturn fold. Both limbs deep in the same direction, but one limb are been tilted beyond the vertical. That is your overturn fold. Then what is the open and closed folds? That is what is the open and closed folds. Depending upon the intensity of the deformation, depending on the intensity of deformation, the beds of the fold may or may not be have uniform thickness. If the thickness of the bed is uniform throughout the fold, it is called as an open fold. On the other hand, in the fold, if the beds are thinner in the limb portion and thicker at the crust, that is called as a closed fold. This is how your open fold will look like. You can see this diagram. Then we have a isoclinal fold. Usually the fold have inclined limb. Usually the fold have an inclined limb, that is the limb will be mutually diverging or converging with the reference to axial plane. But in some folds, the limb will be mutually parallel to the great extent. Such fold are called as a isoclinal fold. This fold may be vertical inclined or horizontal. Then we have plunging and non-plunging fold. The plunge of the fold has already been described as the inclination of the fold axis to the horizontal plane. Based on this, whether the axis of fold is inclined or horizontal, the fold are grouped as a plunging fold or non-plunging fold. In geological maps, when strike lines are drawn by the both the limbs for the non-plunging fold, they will be mutually parallel, and for a plunging fold, they will be either converging or diverging but not parallel. Then we have domes and basin. Usually a fold will have two distinct limbs. But some fold do not have any such specific limbs and appear as beds locally push up or down. That is, their shape appears as a dome or basin. In a dome which resemble an upper hemisphere, the deeps are found in all the sides from the common central top points. Thus, this is a type of anticline in the basin, which is like a ball. The slopes are just opposite. Then we have domes and basin. Then we have structural dome. So oldest formation which is exposed on the surface, youngest formation at the sidewise. Then we have basin like structural basin, youngest formation at the center, and oldest formation exposed on the other surface. Then fault. So fault is a fissure or crack. Fault is a fissure or crack which is developed in a bed when they subjected to the tensile forces. The fracture along which relative movement has take place is called a fault. Further, as long as the fault is active, the site is unstable and susceptible to upward, downward, and sideward movement along the fault plane, thereby making the places highly hazardous for the foundation purpose. Do we have hanging wall and footwall structure here? Then we have parts of the fold. So different parts of the fold we have like fault plane, which is the plane along which the adjacent block were relatively displaced. In other words, this is the fracture surface on either side of which the rock had moved past one another. Its intersection with the horizontal plane gives the strike direction of the fault. The direction along which the fault plane has a maximum slope is the true deep direction. Then we have the what we can say the about this about the parts of the fault. For footwall and hanging wall is a two different kind of structure we always associated with the fault. So when the fault plane is inclined, the faulted block which lies below the fault plane is called as a footwall, and the other block which rests above the fault plane is called as a hanging wall. In this case of vertical fault, naturally the faulted blocks cannot be described as a footwall or hanging wall. So we have a footwall and hanging wall here. Then what different parts of the fault? Yeah, different parts of the fault. The displacement that occurred during the faulting is called a slip. The total displacement is known as the neck slip. This may be along the strike direction or the deep direction or along the both. Then we have a heave and throw. Then we have a heave and throw. What is heave and what is throw? The horizontal component of displacement is called a heave. The horizontal component of displacement is called a heave, and the vertical component of the displacement is called a throw. In vertical fault, there is only throw but no heave. In horizontal fault, there is only heave but not throw. What is the heave and what is the throw? What is the heave and what is the throw? So there is a different type of fault. Now we have a criteria to recognize the fault for the different types. So normal. So first type is a normal and reverse fault. First fault is a normal and reverse fault. Then we have a host and graben fault. A host and graben structure. Then we have strike slip fault, deep slip fault, and oblique fault. This is a normal fault where your hanging wall is comes down relatively to the foot wall. Then you have compressional structure, like this one is a pulling apart. This structure is made by the structure like a pulling apart. Okay, so that's why your hanging wall will be come to the uh, down. Whereas in the reverse fault, or we can say that in a reverse fault, what happen? Your hanging wall will be goes up relative to the foot wall. So the what the major difference between these two? The major difference between these two is pressure, from which side the compressional and this tensional pressure is get applied. This is a host and graben structure we form. This is a strike slip when two lines get going past to each other, that is known as your strike slip fault. Then we have a deep slip fault. So what is the deep slip fault? We have a foot wall, that is a hanging wall. So oblique fault is when you have a arrow the when you have a sleep fault. Okay, sleep fault is also called as an oblique faults. Then the next topic is joints. So joints are a fracture which found in all type of rocks. Joints are fracture which found in all type of rocks. They are cracks or opening. They are cracks or opening which form due to the various reason. Naturally, the presence of joints that divided the rock into the number of parts or block. In simple terms, through the joints may be described as mere cracks in rock. They differ mutually. Joints like cleavage of mineral occur oriented in a definite direction as a set. What is the effect of joint we have? So from the civil engineering point of view, joints are important because they split the rock into the number of pieces, which in turn reduce the competence of rock mass, increase the porosity and permeability, and make them susceptible to quick decay and weathering. Joints, but a few advantage that accompany joints are their occurrences increase the groundwater potential in any place. Then we have a joints. This is how the joint will be looks like. Different parts of joints we have. So joints like a fault refer to the a fracture in the rock, hence it's like a fault, inclined and vertical joints. Also it can be described by their altitude. However, in joints the fracturing block are not named as a footwall or hanging wall. So we have different type of joints like stripe joints, deep joints, oblique joint, and tensional joint. Then we have a classification of joints. So classification is based on the relative attitude of the joints. When the joints are parallel to the strike, when the joints are parallel to the strike, the deep of adjacent weight, they are called as a strike joints or deep joints respectively. If the strike joint direction of joints is parallel neither to the strike or nor deep direction of the adjacent bed, they are called as a they are called as a oblique joints. They are called as a oblique joint. If the strike direction, deep direction, and deep amount coincide completely with the attitude of the adjacent bed, they are called the bedding joints. Then we have classification of joints based on the origin of joints. Most of the joints are formed due to the either tensional forces or shearing forces. Accordingly, they are described as a tensional or a shear joints. Then what is the classification of joints? How do we are classified the joint? So classification of joint is on the basis of tensional joint, strike joint, and oblique joint. So then what is mean? What is the different kind of mountain building activity? What kind of mountain building activity we have? The process of formation of maintain is very complex. The process of formation of maintain is very complex. Various processes are listed below. Various processes are listed below like orogeny, oogenesis, epigeny, and this is a different kind of processes we have. So, what is the orogeny? Due to the tectonic upheaval, due to the tectonic upheaval of the earth crust, or due to the volcanism. Then we have erogeny. What is the epiorogeny? The tectonic deformation of earth crustal region. The tectonic deformation of earth crustal region given rise the formation of continent and mountain basin. So this is how your tectonic plates will be there in the all the parts. Then you have orogeny and epiorogeny. What is the orogeny and what is the epiorogeny? In this process, plate tectonic or volcanic activities form a mountain in orogeny. Whereas in epiorogeny, the tectonic deformation of the earth crust forms a continent ocean basin. Due to the orogeny, the crust is severely deformed into the fold. Due to the epiorogeny, simple deformation occur in the crust. Formation of highly elevated mountain accumulate the increase in the earth albedo. Due to this process, sea level rise and fall as new plates material modify. So this is how your folded mountain will looks like. This is how your folded mountain will looks like. So this is all the structural feature with what we are seeing here. We have like starting from the inlier outlier. Okay, so this is all kind of a structural feature which we are experiencing or which we can see on the earth. So right from the start, any outcrop on the surface is called as a outcrop. Inlier is a dome-like structure which is also called the inlier. Outlier is a structural basin. Then we have strike. What is a strike? Strike is referred to the direction in which a geological structure is present. The strike direction may be defined as the direction of the trace of the intersection between the bedding planes. Then we have strike and deep. Then we have a strike and deep. So strike is starting from the east to west. Strike is trending or from the east to west, whereas deep is from the from their exact deep is always the exact perpendicular, so it will flow like north to south. Deep is literally meaning the slope or inclination. Deep is literally mean the slope or inclination in structural geology. Deep is expressed both as a direction and a amount. The deep direction is the direction along which the inclination of the bedding plane occurred. This is then we have a fold. Okay, then we have a fold like structure, limb, hinge line, axial plane. So this is a different kind of structure we will seen on a different folded mountain. The classification is on the basis of the anticline and syncline fold, based on the symmetrical fold, occurrences of plunges. Then you have the unconformity of the bed thicknesses, behavior of the fold pattern. We have anticline fold when the beds are bent upward. The resulting fold is called the anticline. This fold is convex upward. Naturally, in such a fold, the older beds occur toward the concave side. In a simple case, the limb of anticline slope in opposite direction with the reference to its axial plane. But when the anticline is refolded, the inclined character of limb will be complicated. This is what different kind of symmetrical or symmetrical fold we have. We have open and closed fold. And what about the isoclinar fold? Usually the fold have an inclined limb, that is the limb will be mutually diverging and converging with the reference to the axial plane. But in the fold, the limb will be mutually parallel to the great extent. Such fold are called as a isoclinar fold. The plunge of the fold has already been described. The displacement of the rock block. Fault is nothing but a displacement of two rock blocks relative to each other. That is known as the fault. The fracture along which relative movement has been take place, that is called as a fault. Further, as long as the fault are active, the site is unstable and susceptible to upward, downward, or sideward movement along the fault plane, thereby making the places highly hazardous for a foundation purpose. Then what about the parts of the when we have parts of the fault? When we have parts of the fault, the different parts of the fault we have like a plane along which the adjacent block were relatively displaced. In other words, this is a different fracture along this one all. Then we have parts of the fault also. So we have north, footwall, and this all are the different parts we have. Then what is the footwall and hanging wall? What is the footwall and what is the hanging wall? When the fault plane is inclined, the faulted block which lies below the fault plane is called as a footwall, and the other block which rests above the fault plane is called a hanging wall. In this case, the vertical fault, naturally the faulted block cannot be described as a footwall. The what is different parts of the fault? The displacement that occur during the faulting is called the slip. The total displacement is known as the neck slip. This may be along the strike direction or the deep direction along the both. The horizontal component of displacement is called as a heave, and the vertical component of displacement is called the throw. In vertical fault, there is only throw but no heave. In horizontal fault, there is only heave but no throw. Heave and throw. So normal and reverse fault. What is the normal and what is the reverse fault? So this is a different kinds of structure. This is a different kind of structure on Earth. This is all about the structural geological feature. First, we seen about the physiographic division of India. So in India, what we have a river